that was rock bottom. I'm like, I have a 9-month-old unemployed husband, and I'm living in my mother-in-law's basement. Like, this is, and I'm 41. It's not like I was 42 at that point. I'm just like, where did I go wrong? Like, what life choices did I make that led
How
me
did I
here?
get here? Okay, so this was your perfect storm, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I know that it's even I do this, even on the show sometimes. Like I'm digging into these people, these relationships, and I'm like, why did they do that? I wonder why they did this. We do that. We're humans. But I want to pivot a little bit with your story. Instead of going down the rabbit hole of like why he might have done this or why the relationship might have turned out this way. I love how your perfect storm culminated in like this metamorphosis for you of like, number one, how did I get here? Okay, let's take stock. Let's look. I feel personally like you looked at the gifts and the talents and the passions that you had, and you used that to propel and like catapult yourself forward. So I want to kind of get into that a little bit. You're like the
Sure.
full metamorphosis, but was there anything else that kind of, I don't know, you brought into that cocoon with you? Like, is there anything else in this moment of how did I get here that helped you transform?
The only thing that helped me was just the rock bottom sense that I matter. I have always had that sense since birth.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, you don't commit to life as an artist if you don't have that sense.
Hey there, and welcome to the Reclamation Room. I'm Ashana, and I'm so glad you're here. This is a space for women reclaiming themselves after narcissistic abuse. If you've ever felt like you were too much, not enough, or both at the same time, you're in the right place. I created this podcast because I know what it's like to lose yourself in overgiving, overperforming, and still wondering why it never felt like love. I've walked through trauma, toxic relationships, and the long road of self-reclamation, and I'm here to walk with you. In this podcast, we'll explore what it means to come home to yourself after the confusion and chaos of narcissistic abuse. Some episodes will be solo, others will include guest interviews. All of them will be honest, grounded, and deeply compassionate. So, whether you're just realizing what you've lived through, or you've been on this path and you're ready for the next layer of your healing, you are welcome here. This is not about perfection. This is about reclamation.
So, how are you today?
I'm doing well. It's very good to meet you.
You too. I was
What?
so surprised by your bio.
Really? What
Yeah,
surprised you?
it's very unique, right? Like so the show being like narcissistic abuse, betrayal trauma, complex trauma, like all these things, and your story segueing into like combining art and design is just like, wow, that's so cool.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So were you were an artist first or you were in design first?
I was an artist first.
Okay.
I have 2 art degrees, and I was the kind of artist that gets their furniture out of dumpsters and lives on almost nothing. And yeah.
Is there
And
any other kind of art? No.
well, exactly. Yes. I mean, and I was completely committed to that
Yeah.
forever. I had, peers start peeling off and going to medical school and getting MBAs, and I'm like, dudes, no, this is not right. I mean, when I committed to that, I was serious.
Yeah.
And so I lived that life until the perfect storm took me down.
Mhm.
And that was actually great because I had gotten far enough into the behind the scenes of the art world that I was discovering that it was rigged, toxic, not possible to change. And I tried.
Interesting.
Yes, that's a very long story.
Yeah.
But I had just come to that conclusion, and I had just had my daughter at age 41, and the economy melted down. I was in New
Yeah.
York.
Oh my God.
In New York, just barely hanging on by my fingernails as an artist. I have a baby. The economy tanks. I'm making my living as a massage therapist, and I've had a C-section, and no one's getting massages. And her dad was in IT, and the jobs evaporated. But after the work started coming back, he wouldn't accept it. he just started saying, no, I don't want to do that anymore. And I'm like, dude, you have a child and a family. And he just turned into this man child.
There's so many themes at play here that I'm just like, familiar, familiar. How long were you together prior?
We were together for not quite 2 full years when she was born.
Okay.
So I got pregnant very quickly, but I was 41. It was one of those things I'm like, it's now or never. And he came off really, really great. Narcissists do,
So I'm wondering
Mhm.
if like the stress, and this is like powered by my own musings about the past, but it's fine. So the stress of having a baby, having like these new adult responsibilities, like I need more help with this, and this, because now as a mother, like I'm giving my life force energy to this other human. Like I need you to step it up. We need financial help here. Like I've often wondered if like just the stress of all of that might have been, quote, too much for someone to handle, which is like it peeled back the curtain on these toxic behaviors, you know?
Yes. Well, that was his story, which I bought.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing about narcissists. They are attracted to women who are people, who are empathic and competent.
That's a good point.
He wanted a strong woman. He presented so well. When we met, he had an IT consulting business that he had founded that was pulling in 6 figures. And he had also founded his own theater company. And the first show they put up got written up in the New Yorker.
Oh, wow.
And, I was an artist, and he met me because I was his massage therapist. He was stressed. He came and got massage. He kept getting more and more massages, started stalking my blog, and then asked me out.
Okay.
But he
That
presented,
TV show You, but it's okay.
huh?
It reminds
What?
me of the TV show You. Have you seen that one?
Yes,
Yeah.
that I had to stop watching that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of creepy.
it was more than a little creepy, and they're very familiar.
Hmm.
So he presented as the answer, like, law, like the answer to everything, because I was this creative artist who was struggling, but I was starting to, I was getting a little bit of attention, at least with my blogs, and he coveted the attention I was getting. And he appeared to have both like the creative and the practical, and he was just like so into me. And he liked who I was. He liked the fact that I was wearing sensible shoes. Those little things. Like when someone
Yeah.
appreciates the things that aren't like classically, hot or anything about you, they like the weirdness of you. That's just so
Oh
compelling.
my gosh, this person is seeing me as me and they actually like me. Like this feels good.
Yes.
Please give me more.
And it was
Yeah.
all an act. But I didn't figure out that it was an act for years. Because first he presented great. I mean, he like fit himself into my life, just moved in slowly, didn't disarrange my stuff, like set up lights in my studio so that I had better lighting in my studio. Just it was the perfect support partner. But also his own creative thing going, and also like, pulled in enough money to not only live in New York, but fund a creative
Yeah.
enterprise in New York.
Oh,
So
a
it's like,
dream come true.
yeah.
Sort
Yes. I mean, what was I gonna,
of.
I was like, this is it. This is just perfect. And he was also great with kids. I saw him with his nephews and they just adored him. And I was like, okay, here we go. And he adores his daughter. Was just like all over this baby, just like jumped in and just Mr. Daddy, but stopped working. Just stopped. Just wasn't gonna. And then I was like, okay, we're 9 months in. Okay, the last thing I did before I went in to be induced was write a check on my credit card to cover our rent. And the economy, like the jobs had just disappeared. So that was kind of cover for a while. So we end, she's 3 months old. We're on WIC and food stamps. And, he's working $10 an hour cash under the table, like schlepping at a theater. I'm working $12 an hour as a receptionist at a spa. And we're living on my credit, which was really good. That's completely unsustainable. And then at a certain point, I'm just like crazy looking for work, crazy looking for work. At some point, I realized that he has completely stopped looking for work and will not explain why. Just,
Mm-hmm.
and at a certain point, I realized there was something mentally wrong. And his family lived in Philadelphia. And I had spoken with his mother in November. And she said, Stephanie, if you ever need a place, to crash for a little bit, my house is always welcome. And I'm like, that will never happen. A month later, I
I
moved
said the
in.
same.
Yes, it was just like, my car dropped its transmission on the turnpike on Christmas Day with a 9-month-old in the car. And I was like, I don't have the money for next month's rent. I don't have the money to fix this car. We sublet the apartment. We were out in a week and we were in Philadelphia and never went back.
I mean, thank goodness you had that option, right?
Yes, thank goodness.
Undesirable as it may be.
Right. Yeah, it was, it was the best option at the time. It was,
Yeah.
but for me, that was rock bottom. I'm like, I have a 9-month-old unemployed husband and I'm living in my mother-in-law's basement. Like this
Mhm.
is, and I'm 41. I was 42 at that point. I'm just like, where did I go wrong? Like, what life choices did I make that led
How
me
did I
here?
get here? Wow. Okay, so this was your perfect storm, right? Okay. So, I know that it's even I do this, even on the show sometimes. Like I'm digging into these people, these relationships, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
why did they do that? I wonder why they did this. We do that. We're humans. But I want to pivot a little bit with your story. Instead of going down the rabbit hole of like why he might have done this or why the relationship might have turned out this way. I love how your perfect storm, oh my gosh, your perfect storm culminated in like this metamorphosis for you of like, number one, how did I get here? Okay, let's take stock. Let's look. I feel personally like you looked at the gifts and the talents and the passions that you had, and you used that to propel and like catapult yourself forward. So I want to kind of get into that a little bit. You're like the
Sure.
full metamorphosis, but was there anything else that kind of, I don't know, you brought into that cocoon with you? Like, is there anything else in this moment of how did I get here that helped you transform?
The only thing that helped me was just the rock bottom sense that I matter. I have always had that sense since birth.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, you don't commit to life as an artist if you don't have that sense.
Yeah, that's a good, okay. Come on. That's like a whole thing that we can get into in itself, right? Because
Yeah.
as an
Yeah.
artist, as anyone who puts anything out into
Mm-hmm.
the world that is your baby, your creation, you're like, this
Mm-hmm.
is the essence of me. And I'm letting it out into the world for other people to see and potentially critique. Like, that's terrifying,
Yeah.
vulnerable. And
Yeah.
yet, like you just said, there's this underlying truth that's got to be in there of this is worth putting out into the world.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
And I did actually even bring that into the book that I wrote. That's how it starts, is really taking your own experience seriously as your raw material.
Mm,
Everyone's experience is unique. Everyone's nervous system is unique. Everyone's mind and spirit has something precious and special.
yes.
And you dig for that. And that's yours. That's what you put out. So that was just already deeply ingrained. And my ex, in hindsight, was using me as a battery. He wanted to take what he saw, use it for himself, consume that with complete disregard for my well-being. I found that unbelievable. I didn't believe it for a very long time. I found it confusing
Mhm.
when
Yeah.
the person who's supposed to love you is screaming at you and trying to destroy you and saying horrible things. I was just like, I don't understand why you're saying this. That's the empathy. It's like I couldn't conceive that someone would intentionally try to just destroy me. But it seemed like that was what was happening. So I needed to figure out the puzzle?
Yeah, all the signs are there. So like
Uh-huh.
see this text, but I need to click. There's got to be that moment for everyone where it clicks.
Mhm.
That's what I've seen in like
Yes.
having these conversations. And because we don't process things that way, you know?
No, no, we don't. think that someone else's mind could possibly work that way. But with me giving up on myself and my reason for being in the world, which was more than just to be this guy's like pack mule, was a given. Like that was not there were certain things beyond that was just not going to work. He was not going to break me. That was never an option. It was more that I was like, okay, we're in a bit bad situation. I have to figure out what to do next. I have to figure out how to solve this, heal this, pull a rabbit out of the hat. Like keep pulling miracles. Like if my lack of financial success is traumatizing him to the extent that he can't work, which was his narrative, then I need to be more successful. I need to do more. I mean, I was overperforming and over giving and over delivering. I was doing everything. But I was like, if that's what it takes, then I must do that. That is how it must be. And I did doubt myself, but I didn't doubt myself. You know what it means.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky, like, there's a fine line there.
Very.
So, okay, we're gonna get into your metamorphosis because I'm like so stoked to hear about that part for you and to like hear more about what you do. But I'm wondering, feeling into like you and your journey, what you've been through, like how, like all the things that got you to here. Were there moments in that relationship where there were red flags and you like looking back, you're like, wow, I overlooked the hell out of
Nothing but red flags. I mean, my gut knew something on the second date. I mean, we our first date lasted like 5 hours. Our second date was the next day. It was, it was very, very, yes.
My guy moved in the day after the first date. So,
oh, wow.
yeah.
Yeah, he didn't move in for 4 months. It was still really fast.
Hey, that.
Yeah. No, but it's like your intuition picks up on these things and your mind doesn't take it seriously because why would you? It was one thing. It's that, he said goodbye after we just spent like, 4 hours together and his eyes went dead. It was just this blank.
Yep. I know exactly.
When I'm saying goodbye to someone I just met, I mean, like I say goodbye to you, it's like, I'd be like, oh, bye.
There would be warmth. There would be.
Yeah. It just absolutely flat. And something in me registered that. It's like, wow, his eyes went flat.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and something in me was like, he's being nice, he's attractive, we have a lot in common. He obviously really likes me. I can handle it. That was what my brain did.
Mine did that too. And I did it
really.
I honestly did not even put words to that until you said it just now. And I was like, huh, that is exactly what happened internally. Okay, go on. Sorry.
I think that's actually more common. I mean, the myth about women that get in these relationships is that we're masochists and we're codependent. It's not. It's hubris. We think that we can manage it.
Yep. Oh my gosh, my friend, you just like blew the lid off of so many things for me. So, okay, so you had the second date red flag. Wait, was it after the first date that his eyes did that thing?
It was the second date.
The second date. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and it was just like a blip, and it was like completely ignored it, just continued. Because I had been single for 2.5 years. I'd come out of two really bad breakups. I'd been through like a dark night of the soul, like living in New York, trying to make it as an artist and just, reconsidering my whole life. So I was like, okay, I've been through it. This is the reward. This is the guy that I have attracted.
Yeah.
Just looks so great on paper.
Or like, I deserve a little bit of a good time right now. Come on.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yes. Yes. And even when she was born, adoring daddy. I mean, I've got pictures of he really just bonded with our daughter. He wanted to be the mommy. It was really strange. He really very early on was like trying to be the mommy. He had the bottle routine down. He was still like sterilizing bottles weeks after she'd stopped using bottles.
This is an important thing that you're saying here because I think stereotypically a lot of times we would think of the narcissist as like the person who's going to be a jerk and not help with the baby and like leave you to do it all. And it's like, no, there's many manifestations here. And I don't want to like label someone a narcissist, but you can't deny your experience and your unique viewpoint, right?
Yeah, his is covert.
Yeah.
He would he would just be constant activity that was like a smoke screen because it was activity that was not particularly useful. It's just that he was so busy. How could I possibly ask him to do any more than he was doing? Busy,
Mhm.
busy, 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 doing things that were really not that important, that could have been done much faster
You know,
without
my
like such a
brain
heavy
goes.
weather.
My brain in these conversations, and like people might judge me for this, but this is who I am at this point. My brain is like, I wonder what that was like for him. Like I wonder what he thought he was doing in that moment. Like was it stroking his ego? Was it causing him to feel like a great parent? Like what was his experience like? And I have to like snap myself back and be
Uh-huh.
like, no, we're not doing that right now.
We're
Like,
not doing that.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what my brain was doing too. I was just like, oh,
yeah.
he's such a good daddy, he's just so loving. It just, this economy needs to get better. It needs to get some work. But then when I realized he wasn't looking,
Yeah.
then after we moved to Philly, he started getting calls from recruiters and turning them down. That point, I was like,
Something's going on here.
something's really wrong.
Yeah.
And I was, again, we got to Philly. I had a job I was literally like on foot, no car, walking through the snow, hand delivering my resume around
Oh my
Center
gosh.
City. Had a job within 2 weeks, but it was massage at lower rates than I was making in New York. It wasn't gonna sustain us. And he was just flat refusing to accept any work, to look for any work, wouldn't even put together a resume. And he started screaming at me whenever I would bring it up, and tell me I was a bad feminist for not making six figures.
What? Okay, we've got to laugh at that one. Come on.
It wasn't, we would get into arguments because he wasn't even good at arguing. I'm
No,
like,
that's stupid.
he would just make these absurd assertions and wouldn't even like back them up. It was just like whatever he could say to like make it not his fault.
Yeah, yeah. Alabama, we would say, bless it. Bless his heart.
Bless his heart. I'm from Texas too. We say the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, so that went on for 5 years.
Like the whole like not getting a job.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
A whole cycle. Cycle, cycle, cycle. I mean, I was
Wow.
overperforming, went deeply into debt. My family was helping us out, which he held over my head. He's like, "Oh, you can't support yourself. Your family helps you." And I'm like, "They're helping you, dude. I have a job. You don't. They're making up for your lack of
Complete lack
income."
of self-awareness there.
Yeah.
So, did you hit burnout?
There was a moment he claimed that he was in burnout.
I mean, he was working so hard. Like,
Right. Well, he was in burnout, so that's why he was staying home with our daughter,
oh, I see.
being,
I see. That's why he was
yeah,
thinking
that
about
was his
working.
justification for not accepting.
Was he do last question on him, I promise. Was he doing anything to help with the burnout and to like come out of it? Like, or no, okay.
He was pretending.
Okay.
He was going to cheap therapy at a, fourth tier student, student therapist. It was smokescreen.
Okay.
He wasn't working out. He wasn't seeing a therapist, a real therapist. He wasn't making friends. He wasn't, he was just playing with the baby, and he was networking, trash picked computers in the basement and mining Bitcoin.
And there was at no point any conversation with you, the life partner and co-parent, about like, this is what I'm going through. This is my plan. I recognize that you're
Oh,
supporting the household.
none of that. None of that. It was, I mean, and I, being the empathetic person I was, like every night I'm like, I shop, I cook, I make dinner, I light the candles, I sit down at the table, I ask him what's going on with him. He talks, he performs, he's an actor. It was like choreographed. He's talking, I'm listening, I'm empathizing. At no point did he ever move through anything. At no point did the narrative change, and at no point did he ever ask about me. There was no reciprocity. It was the Joe show for 5 years.
And that's a big piece of the dynamic, is the lack of reciprocity. It's devastating to look back and realize that.
It is. And I had gaslit myself. I was like, it's his anxiety, it's his burnout. When he figures it out, then I'll get back everything I put into this. It was,
Yeah.
and I also I felt trapped. I was like in my head, leaving him meant I would have to grab our daughter and flee with nothing. It was only 5 years in that I realized, wait, I'm paying all the bills and doing everything. He is the one that needs to go. And I made that happen with the help of the community I had built. I wasn't doing nothing at this point. I was doing everything. And so then I was in Philadelphia with no network, no job. After 5 years, I had a network, I had a business, I had,
Go you.
thank you.
Let's talk about that transformation process a little bit. Like, we had the perfect storm. You had this sense of self and that, like, I'm worth something here. And you were like, you're mush in your cocoon for a minute. That's okay. We all have that moment. You woke up and you realized. So what did that look like for you? Like the transformation process?
First of all, the economy was still terrible. And I had been a practicing artist and massage therapist for the last 10 plus years. So my prospects of getting a job that was going to pay the kind of wage I needed was nil.
Yeah.
And that was, horror. That was what have I done? It was horrifying. So I learned business skills. I was like, I didn't want to be an entrepreneur, but I had no other option. Working at a spa, you don't earn enough per client to support a family. So I just started taking clients out of my living room and figuring out how to build marketing strategies. I did everything. I did so many things in those early days. I blogged, I did Groupon, I networked, I did all the just pound the pavement, joined groups, volunteered, did all of these things just to get people through the door.
Now, was this customers and clients for massage?
This was massage therapy. Yes.
Okay.
I had, at that point, I was like, I am walking away from the art world. It has not given me back anything.
Okay.
I'm burned out. I don't have, it's just costing me money. I just have a basement full of unsold artwork that I can't.
Like an expensive hobby that, like,
Right. Yeah, it's an albatross. And I had seen how bad the art world was too. I was like, this doesn't even have meaning for me anymore. I made art to connect and to have an influence in the world with the energy of this thing that I created. And if there's no place for it to go, if it's not having that influence, the joy in creating it has just evaporated.
wow.
Done.
That's like a whole message right there. Like what you just shared. Okay. It's metaphoric for you.
Yes. Yeah. I'm mission driven. I need to be doing things that have a meaning. And that I can see that are influencing humans in a positive way.
No, I get it. I'll have that moment of like, why was I even born? My best friend is like, it's okay, calm down.
Right. Yes. Yes. And so 2 years in, I was just doing the massage, doing the mailing list, doing the networking. And I had this one awesome client that came in, and she came a lot, and she would cry on my table, and we got to be good friends. And she said one day, Stephanie, I just love that painting in your studio. I want you to paint the staircase risers on my house. And I said, not making art, sorry. And she said, well, I can write you a check for a deposit. And I said, done. And we had the best time. Because it wasn't just me making a thing, it was us collaborating. Like, we spent weekends together. She had an idea that she didn't know how to create. She wanted her stairs to feel like her living room was underwater. She had these several shades of blue, and she wanted the stairs to feel like waves or like water. And I was like, absolutely can do that. So I start working, and we pull out the wine, we pull out the music, and we just talk, and we have all these great, just like this podcast, these great conversations. And as she watches it unfolding, she's like, Stephanie, I'm not paying you enough. It's like, because I'm like so meticulous. And I realized this is what I was born to do, because I love this woman, and I could see the idea that she had. I could see her house, and I could understand the effect that things have in space. That was part of running a gallery, that understanding how aesthetics work in physical places, which a lot of artists don't do. They just see their art.
Yeah.
They don't see their art in context. I always saw the context.
Super cool. I have a lot of visual artists on my show, and I'm always like, I could never, but like, kudos to you. Like, you're very needed here.
It's needed for the artist too. Like I ran a couple of galleries and I was always good at hanging the artwork, like making a lot of hanging group shows where the art does not work together. I could
Yeah.
always make it work.
Didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know they needed people for that. Like, that's cool. So you didn't need to be in the artwork as is. You needed to bring art into your world.
I understand art
Yeah.
and I understand it in context. I understand it as a thing that's creating frequencies and wavelengths in the space around it, and it's affecting the space on a
Informing the
physical.
reality.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is changing. It's working in the standpoint of pure physics. It's working on emotion. It's working on culture and identity. It's sending all of these signals on multiple levels, and getting the context right is leveraging that piece of art to create a whole place for the person that is telling them things that they need to hear. And it's sending messages to their nervous system that are going to help that nervous system regulate and tell you who you are. And that's what I was doing for my client.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was about to say. Like,
Yes.
in her living room in real time, and she realized the value of that. And
Yes.
she wouldn't have been in her living room if you hadn't gone on that journey to start taking clients in your living room,
Yes.
artistic freedom.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Sorry.
Exactly. So I felt like I was just like, fine, I'm done. I'm just going to survive here. And then all the things in the society, the culture around me started pushing me. It's like, okay, this is what's needed. This is what's needed. You have these skills, they apply here, here, and here.
Wow.
And I found that the design was more meaningful because I was doing it for a person, a specific person in a specific place. There was no waste. I wasn't just making an object that I had to go find a place that it fit. The place was there. I was tuning the space to where it needed to be for that particular
cool.
person.
Do you know what your human design is?
You know what my human design is?
Yeah. Do you know? Cause like I'm a generator. So there's like generator, projector, reflector, manifesting generator.
I don't know. I've never, not sure.
We need to look that up after this.
Okay. Okay, sure. Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious. It might be a combination.
This is fascinating to me because, again, taking like liberty here, but it's almost like you stopped speaking into the void because you're like, okay, this isn't getting me where I need to be right now. This is pointless. And you got quiet and you went within and you found like that fortitude inside and the strength and the resourcefulness. And then the opportunities came and spoke to you and you were able to respond to those and say yes.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, it was letting go of my ego. I was like saying that I'm no longer an artist. That was like, okay, that's letting go of the ego. I was trying to be an artist without ego, but I wasn't. I was using that as the hack. It's like, well, I may not have any money and I may be really struggling, but I'm an artist. And then I'm just like, the minute I'm like, no, I'm no longer an artist was when things started to shift.
Okay. So
now people keep telling me I'm an artist, even though I'm just like, I'm not doing that anymore. They're like, Stephanie, you will never not be an artist.
Yeah. A part of who you are. That when I heard you talking about how you do what you do, it's like each person, to me, my like philosophy is that each person brings their own flavor to the world, their own passions, their own perspectives. It's relational, this living that we do, right? And a person is meant to be themselves. And that's the most beautiful thing in the world to me when someone is doing that or realizing that or coming closer to it or like starting to do it and they're nervous, but like that shy grin, it's like, yes, speaking your own language. And I don't speak that language. I was just like, what? This is so cool because it's yours and it was perfect. And the way that you expressed it was just like, this is pure magic, what you're doing. So cool.
Well, now, so you're doing exactly what I do. You're seeing people and putting it in context.
I am. Thank you for that. I love this episode. But you just did what you do with art with me. This is pure alchemy, Stephanie. So, okay, so I wanted, if it's okay, if you feel comfortable, I want you to share a little bit about how this perfect storm and this toxic relationship and the pain that it brought informed you transforming into like, okay, yes, I'm doing art again, but maybe I'm doing it in a different way? Or was there wisdom that you brought forward with you from what you went through?
Oh, so much. I mean, I'm going to extract whatever I can. And first of all, I had to find a reason to be grateful for this
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm not going to carry resentment. I'm just like becoming bitter is one of my greatest fears. I had to find a way to integrate this into a narrative where I am not the victim here.
I love that.
And my daughter, I mean, I would never unmake her. She's a miracle. I'm so grateful for her.
How old is she
That
now?
she's 16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that.
So no regrets. I mean, I didn't really want to have regrets.
Yeah.
And I was doing a lot of practice before I left my ex. I was doing some Byron Katie where the work, which is, it's problematic. I was working with a law attraction coach, and there's some things about that I have issue with.
Yeah, me too. But
But
it's very helpful to like start shifting your perspective.
yes, yes. I mean, and it was like I spent 5 years like, okay, if he's not supposed to get a job, if this is all right the way it is, like, what's the answer here? And the answer I kept coming up with is this is forcing you to be who you are, to like grow. It was forcing me to grow. I am very lazy. I would not have forced myself to do all of this if I felt like I had another option.
Yeah, I'll just keep overperforming. It's fine. Okay, that's too much work. I'll do this work instead.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. So I would never have done this. I would never have founded this sensory interior design business. I would never have written this particular book. I had other books I was planning, but I wouldn't have written this one. And this is now a mission for me, that really having some influence to help people live like artists with agency, and to have people creating spaces that are nurturing and healing and restorative rather than draining, environmentally, socially, financially draining. That is enough to keep me going for however long I have.
Yeah.
There are no limit of context where that is not helpful. That's not a purpose.
That's a totally different place from where you were before with the art world, right?
Completely. Yeah. I mean, and the art world, I still have lots of artist friends. I love them dearly. They're still complaining about the art world. And I tell them I really could no longer care less. It's so small. Art world, as it stands now, has zero cultural influence. It's a playground for billionaires. It's money laundering. Very, very literally. And that's not interesting.
Yeah.
That's not interesting
That's
to
not
me.
art to
It's
me.
not art. Oh,
Pushes to, it grows, it shifts, it's living, it's breathing, it's like new things, birthing things, like
yes.
making you uncomfortable and get out of that box.
Mm-hmm.
Me.
Yes. Yeah. So I've had all these new fields to learn things about. I mean, I've learned about business, I've learned about marketing, I've learned about sustainability and economics and advocacy. I mean, I'm more politically engaged than I ever was. There's just limitless things to learn and people to meet and places to go, and I can just set the burden down of having to stoke my ego by making this thing that maybe some billionaire is going to pay $30,000 for at some point. That's
You're worth more than that.
Thank you.
That's the lesson I just got. You always were, and you knew it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh my-
Yeah. And I think that helping people uncover that knowledge is one of the things I'm sort of incidentally here to do. Not that I'm intentionally going out there and doing that. It's just I find that a lot of times when people will come to me, I mean, I had a student write me this letter when she graduated that she said, "Thank you for saying massage is an art." And she said that just completely transformed something for her. And she'd had all these insecurities and all these doubts. And then I said that, and it just, something clicked into place for her, and everything was okay. That was not a thing that I sat there and thought about. I was just said, "Oh, that's obvious." And when
Yep.
people tell me that something I said had that effect. It's always something that I don't remember saying, or that I would just say because it seemed self-evident.
And you weren't trying to put something out into the world that was meaningful that someone would purchase or.
No, I was just trying to be present for my students. And the same with my clients. I'm just trying to be present. I'm trying to reflect them back to themselves in a way that's authentic and healing. And then point out what's already there that we can just adjust, and it's going to work so much better for them. I'm not trying to sell them things. I mean, I'm selling them my time and my expertise, but I'm not trying to make a profit on selling them objects that they do not need. But I really just want to make things work for them, or show them how who they are is enough, what they have is enough, and that this can work. It's just about a little bit of rearranging.
So do you help with like their home, their workspace, their offices, classrooms? Like what kind of settings do you?
All of the above. It
Yeah.
really is about, it's this fascinating 5-dimensional jigsaw puzzle. It's about the actual place.
Okay.
It's about what happens in that place, what needs to happen.
Wow.
It's about who is there and the relationships among the people who are there. And all of those things need to work together to have the most harmonious relationships, the most positive and appropriate emotions, which emotion is just energy. And that's different for a space. In a classroom, the emotion needs to be, focus and inspiration. And for a kitchen, it needs to be, conviviality. For an office, it needs to be productivity and harmonious relationships. And with a family, I mean, I work with families who have, some of them special needs children, some of them have ordinary children, but there's very often boundary issues where one family member is taking all the space, all the energy, and some of the other ones are getting railroaded. I can help people set physical boundaries that are going to mirror the emotional boundaries that need to happen there, so that everyone has their space and that everyone can thrive. Because, I was living in a space where my boundaries were being completely destroyed, and I don't want to see that happening to anyone else.
This is so fascinating to me. So what has been your favorite project that you've ever worked on? Do you have a favorite?
I like, everyone is my favorite. I mean, in the early years, I had clients that were hiring me to paint murals. There are some that were really fun to do. I did a physical therapy treatment room for a client really early on. She had been paralyzed it was eclampsia she had eclampsia when she was giving birth. So she lost all ability to control the left side of her body when she had her daughter. So she was, a friend of hers hired me for massage when she was still in the hospital after the stroke. And then I ended up working with her for a few years, and I ended up creating her physical therapy room. I painted this huge mural. I did the layout. I did some technical things to like make her, just empower her, rearrange the furniture so she can reach things with her good hand, just common sense things, but they weren't doing that. So that was amazing. I loved doing that. But it was also really labor intensive, and most people aren't going to pay for a giant mural. And I don't necessarily want to be doing a lot of giant murals. I just love solving people's problems with my creativity and all of the knowledge of aesthetics and color and composition and neuroscience too, and psychology. So pretty much every project I have is my favorite.
Well, I'm assuming they're all different too. And like it's like you leave a piece of you behind there, but it's a living, breathing piece of you. So it's not like you left it behind and you no longer have it. It's like you're informing each space with like the essence of your creativity.
And then I literally just had a client say that. She wrote a review, and she said Stephanie came almost 2 years ago, and it's like she never left. Like, so you just said what my clients say.
This is like one of my favorite interviews ever. Like, The fact that what you do is a thing that exists blows my mind in the best way because like of course it exists. Duh. This is so needed and so perfect. And I don't know. I'm glad that we found one another to do this episode.
I am too. I'm having a really great time. You're a very
Yeah.
perceptive interviewer.
Thank you. So tell me more about your book that you were talking about.
Yeah, okay, so I have it right here. It's called The Eccentric Genius Habitat Intervention: Interior Design for Highly Sensitive People.
Wow.
And it ended up being a manifesto and a how-to guide. I tell the story more or less that I just told you. There's, you know, different facets of it. And I did not lean into the abuse and the trauma. I made it more global because since this happened, I see it everywhere, everywhere. And I see it with clients too, like really helping people set boundaries. It's very often moms whose boundaries are getting completely mowed over. And I was able to integrate the work of some of the artists I know. I was able to integrate the work of a coach I know. She did a meditation for the center of the book. I really talk about how your nervous system works, first of all, and what it means to have agency. Like paying attention to your own experience is the first step in gaining agency.
Yeah.
So I don't even talk about design until like a third of the way through the book, 2/3 maybe. And then I take you through your nervous system and I have you do some exercises to really understand how your own nervous system is relating to your space in all these different senses, because we assume that we're experiencing the world the same way other people are, and we are not.
Oh yeah. I remember the moment I realized that I was like, wait, what?
Yes. Yeah, it's a watershed moment. And when you start to test it, you start to learn things about, wait, this is causing this low level stress or maybe a high level stress. This is causing miscommunication. This is draining my energy. And then I give you steps and I break it down, things you can do right this minute, things you can do next week, things you can do someday. Because a lot of my clients have ADHD. They're not going to be making a plan, but I give it to them in chunks that
Yeah.
are digestible that you keep coming back to.
Yeah, that's smart.
So I take you through all of the senses and link that to your space, and then I link it to community and environment and systems, because it is not an accident that so many women are stuck in abusive relationships. It's systemic. There's an economic reason for it. There's a cultural reason for it. And having a self-help book that doesn't acknowledge that is more gaslighting.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I have chills right now.
You know this to be true.
I feel like what you're saying. I feel it. Like I have felt it. I have sparked conversations. I've joined in conversations. I truly, truly believe that if we're not voicing these things, then it just keeps happening. And yet it's so easy to shy away from. There's that uncomfortable feeling of like, but are you sure? Like, I don't know if that's safe to say. And it's like, that is exactly why it continues.
It is very true that it's not safe to say, and there's a reason why it's not safe to say. It's because everything is conspiring to keep us in this position where we are the batteries. Now, it wasn't just my ex. It doesn't matter what he was thinking. He was just performing according to his cultural conditioning.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh, you are so wise. I'm so grateful for you coming on this show.
I am grateful to be here.
People need to hear this. So, okay, if there's one person, I know there's going to be tons of people, but if you were to like describe your ideal reader, I hate using that word because, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Someone's going to
Yeah.
pick up your book and it's going to resonate. Who is that person? What might they be going through?
My ideal reader is really smart. Everyone is smart in their own way. They're smart, they're frustrated, they don't understand why things aren't working. This is my ideal client. They feel like they should have more, be more, do more, and they don't understand why it's not working. Why they don't ever feel like they've arrived yet. This feeling of unarrival. And it's not like I'm handing them a solution, I'm handing them a framework. for breaking down that feeling and for taking some practical things to do to help them like arrive in their own life.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I imagine it's hard to market for this.
It's very hard to market. I'm going on podcast.
It's so abstract, but like when you're breaking it down, it's like, ooh, that's me. That's yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we live in a very concrete thinker society, and you need to be, you need to be about this one thing. And integrative thinking, which is what I do, it's impossible to pigeonhole. It doesn't feel like you have a consistent message. I mean, I got into a huge fight with a painting professor who was trying to get me to define my message, do my tap dance, say what I'm about. And we went at it for like an hour and a half. I was like, that is not what art is. It is complex. It is layered. It is nuanced. It is intuitive. It says different things at different times to different people. That is what art is. And
you are what's wrong with art.
Well, the funny thing, I mean, I was in my 20s when this happened. He didn't say a word the rest of the semester. He just sort of wandered around the halls, just looking confounded. And then I graduated. I was furious. I felt so betrayed because I really liked this professor. I just thought he was like one of my people. And then he did this. I was just, I can't believe he did that. 20 years later, I Google him. He has been making complex, layered, intuitive paintings in total obscurity since that conversation.
I knew you changed his life.
I was supposed to be the student who's supposed to teach me, but no.
You weren't here to be a student, Stephanie. Wow. Oh my gosh. I don't even know what time it is.
We've been talking for an hour.
That's okay.
Okay.
Honestly, my listeners tend to like the things that are around the hour mark. A lot of us, I say, are like, we need to get that laundry done, right? Or like we really need a workout in, or we're driving somewhere, and so we just pop a podcast.
Yes.
It'll be perfect.
Yeah, and when you're processing, rumination, repetition, you need to do that. You need long.
Yeah, I feel like people are gonna pause this episode and just like sit with nuggets and be like, "Ooh, that's good." I had so much fun, Stephanie. Thank you.
I did too. Thank you so much. This was wonderful.
I'm gonna add you. We should be like
we should be friends. Yes. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna want to hear from you.
Okay.
Great.
I hope you have a good night.
You too.
Okay. Bye.
Good night.
Thanks for spending time in the Reclamation Room. Be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if this supported you, consider sharing it or leaving a review. You're not alone, and your reclamation is sacred.